Hi again, everybody. It is Victor from Mark Lawrence's Playbook. I am your totals guy, have been now for 20 plus years. We cover NFL over under wagering with our totals newsletter, the totals tip sheet newsletter. And you see the headline over there, best bets now 6-0 over the last 2 weeks. So, what we normally do with a little, 7 to 9 minute segment here is that we will do a little bit of a review of NFL Week 10 action. We'll take a look at a preview of this week's Game 11 over under action as well. Let's get into that. If you're not well versed in your Latin, Fortis Fortuna adiuvat, it's one of my favorite betting expressions. Fortune favors the bold. We always remember that when we do our sports wagering. Now, again, the NFL overs, they made a slight comeback last week. It's been a long time since we had a pro football weekend with more overs than unders. We got to pretty much go all the way back to week 2 in September for that last such week until last week, week 10. It wasn't what we would call an overwhelming weekend, but there were some high scoring shootouts. 8 out of the 14 games did indeed go up, going over the total. It was only the second week since week 2 with more overs than unders in NFL action. With that said, though, some things never change, like the fact that NFL prime time, that's the night games, once again went a perfect 0-3 last week. And when I say 0-3, that means 0 overs, 3 unders. Heck, in the last 2 weeks, primetime games have gone 0-6 over under. That's nothing. Over the last 4 weeks, the last 11 NFL primetime games have all gone under the total on the season now. The night games, Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night games on the year now, 7-25 over under. If you're thinking of going over the total in an NFL night game, think again. Think about passing or perhaps joining us with many under the total winners in these primetime games. Again, week 10 was a good one with our totals tip sheet. We went 4-1 overall, including a perfect 3-0 sweep in our page 2 best bets. The good news for us, the totals tip sheet is finally back into overall profitability for the season. And not only that, but our King Creole game day service is in a really, really nice, solid groove as well. In fact, in the last 3 weeks in the NFL, our King Creole service, over of the week winner in the Chargers Lions game. That was our 4-star best bet last week. We brought home the bacon, 79 points scored, a very exciting over the week. 2 weeks ago, the over the week was a winner in the Cowboys-Eagles game. And finally, 3 weeks ago, our over of the week was a winner in the Saints-Colts game. So again, you want to join us with our game day selections. Our King Creole selections are available each week at playbooksports.com. You can also access our handicapping selections every day by punching in our website shortcut. Just go into your web browser and punch in pb.buzz/VK, and you can get on board with our over-under selections who are enjoying a very, very hot month of November, and that is for sure. So let's get into a little bit more of our review last week. We told you about the primetime games, 7-25 over under on the season. Last week, Sunday, late afternoon kickoff games went an interesting 4-0. All 4 of them ended up going over the total, while none of them ended up going under the total. Now, with that said, we've got a little bit of we're going to take a look at each team's current home and road scoring on the season. It's a good time to do that. We're basically right at just about the halfway point of the NFL season. So let's take a look at some in what's been a very underwhelming season in the NFL. Let's actually take a look at some teams who have had high scoring results at home this year. One of those is our local boys, the Miami Dolphins, who will be hosting the Las Vegas Raiders this particular week. Miami combined points at home this year, they lead the NFL, 62.0 combined points per game at home. This week's over underline against the Raiders is about 48 points. You can kind of see which direction that we are leaning in that one. Also high scoring home teams this year in the NFL. Indianapolis Colts, a combined 57.0. Philadelphia Eagles, 56.6 combined points per game at home. LA Chargers, 54.0. Of course, last week's shootout against the Lions helped LA's home high scoring numbers. They definitely did. Dallas Cowboys at home this year, 52.5 combined points per game. Arizona Cardinals, 53.0. Washington Commanders, 51.3. And finally, Detroit Lions, 50.1. Those are the 8 teams in the NFL that are averaging 50 or more combined points at home this season. They're basically the only teams that you want to look into when betting an over. Now, with that said, we'll take a look at the opposite end of the coin as well. Least combined points at home this season. Number 1 is the Cleveland Browns, and yes, they'll be at home this week. They're hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers. Deshaun Watson is out for the year. They're back to either P.J. Walker or the rookie Dorian Thompson-Robinson at quarterback. And Cleveland home games have averaged only 30.2 combined points per game. Guess which way we're leaning as they host the Steelers this week. Also, low-scoring home teams in the NFL. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 32.2 combined points per game. Las Vegas Raiders and New York Jets, their home games this year, only 34.6 combined points per game. Carolina Panthers, same thing. Low-scoring home team, 34.8 for Carolina home games. Green Bay and Pittsburgh, they played each other last week. When both teams are at home, it's been low-scoring. Green Bay, 36.5, and Pittsburgh, 36.7. Those are the 8 teams in the NFL that are averaging less than 40 combined points at home this season. That's about all for our review. We're going to do a really quick preview. And normally we let you know what one of our totals, tip sheet, best bets are, but they've been so hot, we're going to keep that on the down low. After all, we're trying to get people to purchase our playbook newsletters like the totals tip sheet. So we're going to hold off on those OU best bets that are on page 2 in each week's issue of the tip sheet. We'll let you buy this week's issue number 11 and see for yourself. But in the meantime, we are going to give the ball to our boy Tuco for a 1-star free opinion this week. And Tuco's going back to what he does best. That's team totals. His play this week is the Tennessee Titans to score over 16.5 points. That's right. Their over-underline is only 16.5 points on the road against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Tuco likes Tennessee to go over that number. I know they're only 2-7 over-under on the season, and they're averaging only 17.1 points per game. The good thing is all we're asking them is to get their average. The bar has been set pretty low for us this week. How about this Jets-Titans series? And I'm glad you asked that. In the last 7 games versus the Jaguars, the Tennessee Titans have averaged 25.8 points per game. They've scored 20 or more points in 6 out of those 7 games. It makes our number of 17 or higher pretty reachable for the Tennessee Titans. And it's not like Jacksonville has a dominant defense either. They do not. The Jaguars are ranked number 23 in the league. They're allowing 21.1 points per game on the season. And in their home games, even higher, 27.0 points per game is what Jacksonville is allowing at home this year. Looking at Tennessee's offensive success on the division road as of late, pretty much seals the deal here for Tuco and myself. Since the beginning of the 2019 season, Tennessee has averaged a very high 29.5 points per game in their last 12 division road games, like this one is. So there you have it. Our one-star free play this week is a team total from King's best friend Tuco, and it's on the Tennessee Titans to score over 16.5 points as they take on the Jacksonville Jaguars on the road in a Sunday AFC South Division clash. There you have it, our review for Week 10, our preview for Week 11. We're giving the ball to Tuco. He's playing the Titans to score 17 or more points. That'll do it for this week. Best of luck with all of your Week 11 selections. And don't forget to get back to the Mark Lawrence Against the Spread podcast.